Ready,
next time. Asihlabeleleni bazalwane.
Sashinja manzi sawayezi waini
Satagwa Sangena Angisho manje Mr. Producer now Iminyangu Hallelujah
Sanbona
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Niyamugelegile. This is Me and Friends podcast. My name is Sizwe Lawrence Maseko, and with me I have the short shoot. The man who has the word in his heart, in his mind and soul. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Thabiso, Msimang.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, on my side, my right, yes, my right, I've got the man, the Zulu man, the man who is the Ngabi, but did not vote for the MK. His name is Themba, Black Coffee, Vilakazi.
Actually, so since nobody has ever given me a proper nickname, I mean, I've always given people proper nicknames. I mean, what the hell, bro? Okay, Zwest does not come from me. Uspupu does not come from me. But there's some nicknames I have given you before.
Friend, I don't like them as well.
So for me, right? So I'm giving myself nicknames, right? That I've been given that I destroyed back when I was young and didn't understand that melanin is a very strong powder.
Yes.
So, Somnyama. I would say, no, I'm not too. I'm too dark, man.
I'm such too gangster.
Still searching for something.
Somnyama. So we come on the podcast, magic guys. Somnyama, welcome everybody. Hello,
ladies and gentlemen. We have Somnyama, as he calls himself. All right. Speaking of nicknames, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, guys. 400 views in 3 days now. Which probably thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it so much. And speaking of nicknames, I feel like we need to give our people a nickname.
Oh yeah.
Right? We've been saying my Fs. Okay, I don't know if it works, but my F, we are set bands. I said I'm going to open the floor for you guys as well. So tell me.
Yeah.
Then,
all right.
What name do you think would suit our people? I mean, like G has chillers, Poor Pops and Thingy have cheese boys and cheese girls, and popcorn and cheese. Themba Kells has sages on Talks with Kells.
I see.
So it's either we're going to do a poll today and say, Abu my F, Baba Funu my F, other right, Bambo Tele. And then I thought of another one. I said buddies, because I feel like buddies is relevant to everyone, girls and boys. Otherwise, I also thought of dudes and divas, which also includes my gang, inclusive of LGBTQI, which I've said I don't identify for, but I do. Otherwise, I don't advocate for. Moving right along, then you guys can just also tell me what you guys think.
I mean,
other names.
I think buddy, no. What was I thinking about now?
It is buddy, my F, and from me, dudes and divas, and I said if you have another one, unless you want to go with the ones that I have already.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I'll go with what you have for now, but maybe I think my friends, bro. I mean, just I don't know.
But as long as my F, we need to find a way that sages, chillers.
Okay.
Yes, my friends, yes, is us already, me and friends, but maybe find a special name for them.
Maybe to some extent we can leave it to the viewers. Maybe to help us.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
Something
so with the names that we have, unless you add on other ones, if you have to have another one, Tracy, do you think?
Nice. No. I think Themba placed it nice already. So crazy, dude. I think we should leave it to the viewers.
Right, so,
although also Mina Nama was also just seconding this thing, your friends and all that. I think it will be me, which is us, and then the friends, which is them. And
all right.
This is what the show is about.
The fourth name, right? So we have MaF, we have my F, my friend, my F. We can even do it and go that far.
Sounds a bit gay, though.
Yeah, it's fine. Does it not come from a gay person? Does it not come from a gay person?
Oh, I'm messing with you.
Otherwise, my F, and then we said dudes and divas, right? And then we said buddies, right? Which you are cutting off, which is the same as friends. So, guys, please vote, guys. Tell us, which one would you like us to refer you as we thank you guys and invite you and you join our family, right? Because we are shocked at what you guys are doing. In a space of 3 days, premiering our thing, guys, 400 views.
No, that was beautiful. That is very beautiful. Thank you very much to everybody that watched. And please share and subscribe, like how Sizwe says. Share it to your family. Share it to everybody. Oh yeah, guys, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody.
We did the first
Hey.
We did it.
It was very nice.
We did it.
Thank you very much. Eh?
And I sat down and thought, okay, fine. You know, we had a very impromptu session the last time.
Yes.
How's about right now, since we are in the month of June, why don't we also tackle the things that are affecting us as the youth?
Okay.
The first conversation being Africa Month was last month, right? And I sat down and thought, I did not even know that it was Africa Month. Did you know?
Well, no.
And as Africans, guys, why do we not commemorate that so much? And when I went on to my research with Africa Day, I figured we are better in Africa. Inclusive of us, that politically we also have issues going on, right? But I went on too deep, and I went on to West Africa, guys.
Yeah.
Themba, and what I found is appalling, guys.
Yeah.
There is a war that is happening in West Africa, and it's not enshrined, and there's no people that are called in to assist.
100%.
Yeah. And those people, most of them are here in South Africa, the people that we are chasing out, your Sudans, your Ethiopians.
Yes.
And it's going down.
Yes.
So I went and did my research. Guys, get back.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, now that you say that, like, I just, my mind just takes me back to, it's almost like, it's intentional how the situation obviously faces us in Africa and how the colonizers have came, you know, and messed up with our brains. Because, I mean, bro, the old times that you know, colonization has done, or the whole idea, or the end goal of colonization was to actually, now that I think of it, capture the mind. Because at this point in time, we are living realities based on what was programmed in our minds back in the past. You know what I mean? Because remember, and see, now we are so lucky to be in between generations, right? We are in between what they call the Gen Zs or the millennials now, the 2000s, right?
Yes.
And also the old generation, which is our parents. So we sucked up whatever that our parents told us, you know, go to school, get a proper education, you know, you mustn't swear, you mustn't do this, you must love Jesus, you must do that, right? So all the programming has brought us to this part where we are now. So colonization was intended to say, you guys stay there and thinking you have nothing to contribute to this planet or to this part of the planet you were given, which is Africa. And by the way, Africa has ample resources. We've got money. We've got everything in this fucking land to make us prosper. But now your mind is still in the gutter. So there's no way that you will see the light.
And thank you for saying that, Themba. What you're saying is your point is to open what my question is. Because I'm about to say, what do you think is the problem? As Africans, why don't we know about that?
100%.
And you are saying we are institutionalized. You are saying they fucked up our mind.
And because the media is mostly propaganda. That's why we don't know about it. I mean, I watch the news every morning. And not once have I seen anything that you're talking about. Unless I turn on to Sky News, BBC, CNN. I'll see there Al Jazeera. Then you see some pretty bad stuff, right? But like you say, nobody's calling for help. Nobody's shouting flags. Hey, this is me, this is come help us, nothing, but because it's intentional. I mean, for example, even in 2024, how is, for example, France wanting to control Burkina Faso and Mali and all those countries for their resources? How? The Congo is in the mess intentionally, so that the West can keep those milking those resources. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, I'm forgetting this word. You know what I mean? It's almost like they go in there, form their bases, and give us the illusion that they'll bring peace, right? But their presence there is to create instability, because in the West, I mean, look at the embassy, the bases America has across Africa, right? But you look at the regions where those bases are, it's war. Yes. And America is being this superhero that can stop anything in their way. But ISIS coming up, this coming up, this coming. So at the end of the day, I just feel like, you know what, it's intentionally kept like this so that we don't prosper. Because also, you're not going to go to West Africa right now. Just randomly take a bus, go to West Africa because of all the conditions that we are told in the media, and we don't do it. But now think about it. If we were to do that, the opportunities we would flip and uncover, it's too much, my man. It's too much. That's why these guys that come from all these other countries in Africa coming into South Africa, they prosper.
That's my thing. I'm like, bro, they are here because what struck me, Themba, when I did my research on that, and I didn't do thorough research, because you watch a documentary and you're just shocked at what you see visually before you even listen to what they say. They say to me, there's the biggest hindrances in the crisis there is the loss of mortality. By that they mean now they have a situation of graves everywhere, and they don't know, they're not sure of who is who, how. And secondly, the kids are malnourished.
Dude, like, it's so interesting that you mentioned that. Like, when I was still in Pretoria working for the embassy, one of the guys that used to work in, I think it was Abuja, in Nigeria. So this guy was telling us when he came back after his deployment, he was telling us stories, dog, like wild stories. This guy was telling us a story saying during the day, they'd go out. Like, this would be like a norm because they work for an embassy, right? So now what would happen is like, they take them to a field where maybe let's say 500 people died for some whatever reason. Maybe the rebels came, whatever. But now, because they're an embassy, South African embassy, to some extent, obviously, there's some South African casualties that happen there. So the embassy has to go and identify people. The guy was talking about such things, I don't know how true that is, but that's what the guy was telling us, to say, hey, we got the it's like an open field, like it's a dumpster basically, right? Where people's bodies are piled up on top of each other. And imagine you working for an embassy, you just in a chair, bro. You don't work in the morgue. You're not like, you go there now, so you just pick up bodies. You're like, hey, we might. And it's crazy, and it's just a normal thing.
To link you in, I want to ask this question to you, maybe my friend. What do you think is the problem? Why aren't we united as we say we are as Africans? Because if one of our brother is going through that, or one of our brother nation is going through that continent, why aren't we assisting?
You know what? First of all, I would acknowledge the fact that this is a very sensitive topic to begin with, because now we are touching. You spoke something about the eras and all that, that we are this generation in between. We also have our mothers and fathers, and who've been through the things that we are dealing with the consequences of right now, because we are basically right now dealing with the outcome of what they went through. You understand? This touches everyone, basically. You understand? And Themba spoke about something. It is colonization. It touched my heart for a bit. Honestly, even right now, I am trying to figure out how am I gonna really respond on this one, because so much so you have said it a lot. You understand? But me being a person that I am, I think genuinely I would just
what do you think is killing the unity in Africa? Because, guys, and this is not putting it on the spot. This is the reality of we're in Africa, guys. Right? And as much as we are able to do a podcast like this.
Yeah.
There are young men in Africa, in Sudan, who have the same ambitions. To own something or to do whatever, to live their dreams.
Sorry, my boy. And funny enough, now you actually do find that in Africa, right? You find the smartest kids ever. Dude, like I see on LinkedIn, bro, you find kids. You remember we used to make cars with the wires when we grew up, right? Those ones in Nigeria, that car, bro, will be moving on its own. It's got a motor, it's got this. These guys are creating windmills. They fucking doing great stuff, right?
See on Facebook, for instance.
Those
kids can draw and create.
Dude, hydro. What is this thing? What's this new thing, man? This new energy source that we're finding.
Hydroelectric.
Which one? This green energy thing. Hydro.
It's even green.
Whatever. But
how do you think we know that?
I love it.
It's hydro something. I'm forgetting this thing, bro. But you find like, young people, like way younger than us. In Africa, they're creating these hydro whatever plants. Why am I forgetting this word? Such a simple word.
Hey, man.
Whatever.
And fourth industrial revolution is new technology, my friend.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's almost like they don't have the opportunities, but the ability is there. And now, this is what I want to touch on what Treasy says when he talks about the sensitivity, right? Now, I look at that, right? And I point the view back to us in South Africa, because everyone in Africa perceives that South Africa is this one place that everybody wants to go to because it's a good country for now. You know what I mean?
I mean, for Africa, we are like the Hollywood.
Basically, and everybody wants to come here. And yet, when everybody comes here, they then realize the shortcomings that we have here, because we have never crossed the river and saw what's happening on the other side. One, there's a whole lot of things that are going on with us, bro, in South Africa. A lot. And that also, again, I don't like pointing fingers and I don't like judging stuff. But, bro, apartheid did quite a lot of things. And the lot of things that it did, it came down to one thing, our brains. And you look at how things are happening with us in South Africa, how we look at things, how we reason, especially where foreigners are involved. I'll take you back to when you say, why is this happening, right? Or why is this still happening? Or like, what's wrong? I'll take it back to what Julius Malema always says, right? This guy says, he talks about this. And I see that a lot of people in the media, they don't emphasize this point or they don't look at this point, but because media is a propaganda machine. But he says, this guy, guys, wait, he makes this example. You could wake up and decide to go in Europe. You can wake up and decide to have breakfast in Spain, in Milan, and have dinner in Italy, whatever the case may be, right? Because they don't have borders. Now you come to South Africa. Wait a minute. Now there's borders. Look at America. America is so big. They've got 50-something states. We've got 54 African countries, which could be states, and we could become one like America. Whoa. Europe is one. No, they've got one visa. You just pass there, nice. We don't have that. So now how is your mind going to work outside of the box if you are stuck in South Africa? Where in South Africa, we're getting, I'm sorry to say.
But my point is, you want to tell me, it's not, I want to show you, because in terms of we have those people in our country.
Yes.
And guess what? It's going to lead to our next conversation.
Yeah.
We have troubled people in our country.
Yeah.
Shooty, if they are here, in the state that they come from, then they are troubled. Then they are troubled. Hence, we have what we have in Ratanda with the foreigners that are killing people.
It's like falling in love with a girl that just went through a whole lot of shit in her life. Now you are just a remedy in her life because you bring something that will calm her down in a way. So that's what we are trying to do. I think coming down to the question, what's wrong? Hey, man, it's not about what's wrong. It's about what is it that they're against. You understand? Because out of all, Themba mentioned a whole lot of things, man. I wish I could just pinpoint them and you understand. And you, along your words also, you mentioned something to do with everywhere there was graves and there was taking this guy there and all that kind of stuff. I mean, all the torture and all the mind programming. What is it against? And I'm going to tell you exactly. It's against humanity. Because when you talk about Africans, you speak of humanity.
And then Themba, that's why maybe you brought in apartheid. Because if you speak humanity, I'm speaking about everyone.
Yeah.
So Mauti, they, my friend, I'm saying, are we at that point with the colonization?
Yeah.
So the white people, they ababaz Ubuntu, and I'm saying, sorry to say, I'm not sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry, but otherwise, that's why in a secret, you're seeing Ubuntu. Humanity. Is that what you're saying, my friend? You're saying, are they liking that? And I'm not saying we are being racial or some sort or racist, but we are being honest. We're opening a book of truth right now.
Thank you very much.
What we think is wrong.
Thank you very much.
Yes, friend.
Thank you very much.
So is that what you think you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because now when we bring it to our own terms, we say now Ubuntu. But now when we say it in their language, it's humanity, which we describe better when we say Ubuntu. Ubuntu means a person, umuntu. And the umuntu ngabantu, when we even go down to our terms, you understand? And even to say that, umuntu, you know, when you are doing bad things in the locations, how we are raised and all that, but you are also umuntu. You are not a human. You understand? So to us, it describes a whole lot of things when it goes down to humanity. You understand? Because to us, it's not something to talk about or something that is out there. It's us. You touch us when you speak of that. That's why I say this thing is very much sensitive. I'm even, and I'm glad you guys are here and talking about it. To me, being the type of person that I am, I'm glad that we are different type of people. You understand? I'm here on the other side. I am busy
internalizing it.
Oh, man.
Internalizing it.
I mean, this conversation goes deep.
Just to emphasize on that, Ubuntu, I just wanted to ask, isn't it funny that Ubuntu, we subscribe to Ubuntu, but Upili, and yet we are the same people, black people, that are not united.
Okay, so you are raising another point.
You know what I'm saying?
You're raising another point. But you're answering the question.
Yes,
you're actually answering the question.
And also, I just wanted to say, sorry, Sizwe.
So point two, friend, is point one is colonization of the mind. Point two is that. What is that?
And yet we are not
black
united.
People, nothing as the black people, there's no unity.
There's no unity.
The blame is not on the white people.
And yet we subscribe to a constitution that talks about unity. And yet we are far apart. I mean, you look at this
question. If you take a glass of water and you fill it with water, and then you take a different object, let's say
Coke,
a can,
for example.
No, let's say a can of Coke, a solid object, and then you suppress it on the same glass. Obviously, all of the water that was in the cup is gonna now go out, it's gonna overflow, and that can is gonna be now what is occupying that space. So going back on that, are we really not united? Or is someone squeezing a can in a glass full of water?
That's what you said. Initially you said the mind. So someone is, the answer to that is someone is. When we were programmed.
That's why. Because I wanted to go to that point, but then I wanted to finish all these other sub-points that I wanted to put. To say, just to complete that point that I wanted to say when you spoke about us as basically you're just saying that we are a community and people belong in society and we operate inside society. That's a premise of being a human being. And again, having said that, right, that is why, Tweezy, Mukanga boy, you go steal a chocolate at ShopRite, the first thing that happens, you get arrested, you go to jail. What does that mean? You've done something out of society norms. Then what is the consequence of that? They separate you from society.
And they go correctional
100%, right? So when you are separate, I mean, you look at, for example, in jail itself, we always hear that when you are a loud mouth or when you do something wrong, let's say you stab somebody, how we see in the movies. What's the one punishment that they give you once you do something bad in jail? Solitary confinement. They isolate you from where? From the general population. So why are they doing that?
So friend,
and you go crazy.
That's another point.
You go crazy.
I'm not rescuing this man. Rescue this guy, man.
He's going to another answer. So as Africans, we need to be in solitude. Should we are now condemned?
100. 100.
Yeah, but in our divisions, dude, we are not. The solitary dude is
you can't function outside of society
if you are not. Yeah,
bro. Society makes you. That's why we always talk and generalize. Sometimes we say, yeah, but society will judge me for this. Oh, society will look at it's because then that's how we operate. I mean, also you must also check right the opposites, right? You look at, for example, I'll make an example, obvious example. Look at AfriForum. AfriForum has got about 350,000 members, right? They're each contributing. I don't know how much they're contributing, about $10 or something like that, right? But they're making millions. They're building schools. They're doing stuff. They were in Vereniging the other time. I saw a video in Vereniging. AfriForum came in the neighborhood. They said, guys, let's contribute $100 or whatever amount they contributed. They were filling up potholes. They fixed their own street lights and everything like that, right? There is some sense of community there. They know that if we are together, however, there is something that we also have to note. And I just want to go back and just give some context to why I started with how apartheid messed up our minds, because everything has to have a context, right? It's solely valid to get to all these answers that we are getting to. They start there by the brain, because if your brain is colonized, one, you are not going to recognize yourself.
But sorry to cut you, my boy. Who was colonized? I'm asking you a question, you and I. And as much as we are saying our parents took it in, but we have a choice. We have better preference. If they fucked up our generation, the question is to us. What aren't we doing? Why are we following that pattern?
Can I just show you that, right? To some extent we are, to some extent we not. I like making up numbers, so I'll make up a number. So I would say we are sitting at a 60-40 equilibrium space. Now we're almost in the equilibrium, right? Now, the Gen Z or the 2000s are actually sitting in the equilibrium. We are on the 60, they're on the 50. Why? Because we understand both generations, right? Like, for example, me and you, we went to multiracial schools. Now, I'll come back to the brain to say, you see how the brain and society is programmed us. For example, and I'm going to put this categorically clear because I want to make this point. So allow me. So I went to a multiracial school, right? And then there was the TKs who lived in town, went to a multiracial school. It's almost like his reality was different. And yet I operated with him in the same reality that we both perceive, because we are in the same school, we speak the same language, and yet after school we go to two different realities. He hears the birds here, he was playing DSTV. Me, I go back to Kazi. When I get to Kazi, bro, you know, there's my Zuzu, it's noise. I live in a RDP, and I feel like, my friends can't come to my house. I don't have a nice house, and all that stuff. But what contributes to that? Now, when I used to go to a Kazi, because I used to walk from E3, go to a Marobutsin and whatever the case may be, and each time, there was this corner, there was a Apollo. So there was these guys that used to plumb there. They'd ask me for 2 rand each time. You know what I mean? Each time they asked me for 2 rand. So this guy one day, I actually asked him, because he came to me that day, right? He didn't shout with his friends from afar. He came to me, approached me. He's like, kumtsing, kawona limajita hauli ole fakang de brele kawona, kalibona lura limajita cleani, kawona amfakele turanda da dinya kaorega bia. So, but at the same, so my response was, dude, wait a minute. So you want me to give you 2 rand to buy beer? Something I'm not doing for myself. He says to me, somebody hemisphere, hemisphere, and I thought to myself, I'm like, how? My next answer is, dog, that's your choice. Why are you selling clothes that you are saying? You are saying you wear the same things I wear, but yet you criticize me for the things that I wear. Now, what hit me the most was, how you don't have 2 rand? And I'm like, yeah, I don't have 2 rand. He's like, Mara, why don't you go to white schools? I'm like, what does white schools have to do with anything? He says, your dad has got money because you go to white schools. But now here's the thing, Sizwe. Now I'm trying to walk with you on this, right? Now this guy is asking me for 2 rand. His perception is, Ekaya Snemali, because I go to white schools, right? And I think I am better because I don't chill with them and wear dickies. And because I'm wearing jeans and walk with my friend each time they don't see me smoking weed or whatever, they think, oh, this one is a perfect being. He goes to a white school, right? But what defeated me the most was when we attended library. I used to sit at the library. And we'd go to the library with people from Khanyal City, secondary and all that, right? I had friends from Khanyal City and whatever the case may be. And some of those people also, to my surprise, they would also treat us as if, well, some of them would not say we think we are better, but some of them will look at us like, ooh, you guys are in a fucking good school, so you guys must be more smarter than us. And in my mind, I remember when I was in matric, I was discussing this with somebody, and I was saying to them, but this, me being in a white school does not equate. Oh, somebody was talking about accents. They were saying, oh, what time? Why when ukulumangati accent yaki kanje, and then somebody that you went to school with, but their accent is the opposite direction. And I was like, that's the problem. It's because we have internalized the fact that accents make up intelligence.
Are you saying to us, for instance, I'm not cutting you.
100%.
Go on. Are you saying to me, as black people, in us, we are also judging? We have institutional. We are judging me because of the white school.
We have
but I'm black like you.
Yes.
But I'm black like you.
100%.
And guess what? Because you see me in a white school, I stay in an RTP.
That's exactly my point. That's where I wanted to go to say we never really thought further to say malum chitu like RTP.
So we your point was us. There's no unity. That's what you're trying to say.
There's no unity, and also the inferiority complex. It shows up in us because we treat each other different. That's why there's clever blacks, there's coconuts, there's this within us, right? So Mauplo make us like, for example, I'll make another example. Then I'm done.
Yeah, please.
I think a White House. And then some guy, which this is wild, bro. A guy that went to African school, LR school from grade 1.
Yes.
We went to Folky till matric. Like, I was so perplexed. This guy, I'm speaking to TT, he says, yo, Themba, Sab was a Hoa Haka. This guy, he's West. He comes from Afrikaans. And he says, he's surprised. To my mind, I was like, okay, so number one, what is the problem in speaking Islumo? And I'm speaking to people that generally I was in school with, so it's not like I'm discriminating if I'm speaking Islumo. But then again, why is that a measurement of anything? If Uguti Nzokulmi Islumo or Themba thinks I'm better? Because I've been in a situation where I said, and one of our friends said, "Oh, and I'm like, no, calm down.
Yeah.
So what is that supposed to make me feel? Am I supposed to be like, oh, because ngisekazi manje engakhuluma isilungu because angifuna ukubukeka ngathi ngiyaqhoma noma ngingcono angikho ngcono, because also Khanyal City produced people that are more smarter than me. Today Khanyal City has accountants, as doctors. Ifol itself does not probably have half of those doctors.
Okay.
So
Themba.
Wow.
This shows up in us. You know what I mean?
Let's close it up, my friend. Because you will go on. And I know the beauty of it is
it makes me angry.
because you live in a community of black people.
Yes.
And with them, there's more examples than anything else. And Shuti now, we have discovered the answer to our question. We as black people, we need to do better.
100%.
You know, as people in society, which starts with the internal work, internal work. And be in solidarity in a group. Find yourself, and in your group, you know what to talk about and what not to talk about, and what not to judge. What Themba is saying is, demographics do not matter, and don't judge the situation of Themba and think because Themba came from a white school, he knows better.
No,
that's not
I'm far from it, bro. I'm far from it.
So as Africans, let's do better, guys.
And even meant to go deeper on that.
Can we not go deeper, my friend? Let's close this one and move on.
Okay, let's close this one. If you don't answer something, if you don't respond to something, you react to it.
Of course.
So now let's take responsibility of this. So we respond to it. We don't react to it.
Yes.
Now we can continue to another subject.
And guys, so with that answer, let's respond to the situation of West Africa.
Yes, sir.
And we can respond in so many ways.
Yes, sir. Yes,
guys,
sir.
We don't need to be involved in it, but we can respond in it. And we can start as an African one by one. Fix yourself. Maybe you will come with an answer. Moving right along.
Sorry, before we move right along, I feel like let me just close this.
Yes,
so because I spoke of colonialism, apartheid, what, colonization. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the word perfectly. You see, I'm just because I'm from Portugal doesn't mean anything. But in any case, let me just say this, right? Because I spoke of the mind, dog, we operate in fear, and that is my biggest problem, right? Because it's almost like Twizy is saying, it's almost like someone is expecting Themba once they must be able to defend themselves, right? Because Themba manje will speak of this and that, and now it'll seem like I'm better than them. No. We are all together. But the premise of this, of what I said, right, starts with we need to work on our minds, guys. We need to stop operating from fear, because all of us have got an equal opportunity to be the greatest people, to be the greatest things in this world. We don't have to think bad of each other for us to, come together. Understand the differences of Sizwe, understand the differences of Themba, understand the differences of Twizy, and then we can come to one conclusion, because we all won. And that's the thing.
Can we have better Africa?
That's it.
I'm close again. Yeah, moving right along. Speaking of, we mentioned, as we were talking about this whole situation.
Don't touch me, bro.
As we were talking about the situation, we touched on having the foreigners in our country. And when you speak about genocide that is happening in West Africa, it is done by men. Let's be honest. To shoot women and children are more. The people that shoot, the soldiers are the men.
Yes.
So, we are moving to Men's June. Apparently, guys. Not apparently. It is stated in our calendar that June is Men's Health, mental health month. So let's start there. We have men that have mental issues already. If you are coming from Africa and you were killing people or you ran away, there was a situation. You're not stable. So let's start there. Who can break down please break down what mental health for you.
Before I break down mental health, I just want to say somebody joked with me. I don't know where. I take it as a joke because I hadn't had facts of this. But somebody said, the people that we have, like for example from Nigeria, the people that we have, the people that we see causing trouble or whatever, some of them are nice.
The foreigners,
But I mean, he says, we actually getting the lowest grade of that country. We're not getting the cream of the crop. So the ones that we see here are the rejects of that.
So we were getting, we are getting rejects, we're still getting people that are not okay. And if it's the rejects, we still have trouble. We still have trouble. So let's talk about that, Themba. How do you deal with this? Let's start there. How would you break it down? I'll go to my definition.
So, I've got many ways to break it down, right? So the most immediate thing that comes to my mind is the fact that you must also remember that, obviously men associated to masculinity and all these things. And if you look at the history of life, obviously because of masculinity and how men physically they're strong, I mean, who dies in war? Men, right? Of course, women and children are casualties of war, but who gets sent to war? It's men. Who dies in war more? It's men. Who's you know what I mean? Who is supposed to protect the country is men. Who's supposed to build the country is men. So at the end of the day, men are associated now with
and let's not. They are not associated. It is like that, Themba. Who's shooting? Who's doing who are the soldiers? Let's be honest.
Yes, 100%.
Men come as a whole. Yes.
Yes.
We are attached to Yes. Is it not the truth? Who's killing the people? When you watch the documentaries, who's doing the shooting? I'm not trying to say that you're wrong.
It's men.
We have mental issues. Actually, we're going to mental
100%.
Let's go there. Please define mental health. And then you'll delve into how...
Yes. Okay. All right. So...
Because now, it becomes opposition if you're saying masculinity. Who does that? When you are going to cons of... What is it that we do well in the war? But more importantly, we're talking about a war here.
Okay, let me just address that part. But you must also understand that who gets sent to war? Strong men, right? Well, Themba could be a man, but
what is a war, Themba?
Well, a war. Okay, it's a killing of people.
Yeah, let's go to that, please.
Yes. So what about war?
Mental health.
Because I was going there, so now you...
So what do you think? Should mental health, define mental health, and then we'll go back to why...
I don't have a clear definition of mental health.
Whatever it is that you think about it.
Okay, now I can think of...
Men's mental health more than anything else, not just mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. See, men's...
The thing is, Mena, I'm very... like I said earlier on...
And by definition, I'm not saying... contextually, I'm just saying,
and that's the thing because I'm trying to get contextual because that's why I come with it with an angle because I want to tell you a story that I can link it up to how then mental health is because sometimes I tend to answer your questions within that row. But if you ask me a direct question, because I never really think about these things, well, I don't think about what is mental health.
But I mean,
I'm saying I don't say it make
Let me
this
be
up.
more direct. What is mental health?
I don't know. Mental health could be many things, and it could be. This question is also, it could be subjective, because to me,
thank you.
In my
what is mental health to you, Themba?
Not globally and not war wise.
No, I started with it because actually I was just referring.
I understand, but like
and you added on and said we have Nigerians and people that are not stable, or we don't have the worst people. It generally is what you say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All
so
right.
I did not go to war because I wanted to go to war. I linked it.
All right. So I think, okay, first of all, all right, also, again, guys, I'm going to dilly-dally about this because for me, it's not a straight line, this thing, because mental health is mental health.
Yes.
There's no men's mental health.
There's a man's mental health. Why would they have June for men's mental health? There's a rise in suicide. There's a reason why people start specificating things.
Yeah, because of awareness, maybe.
Exactly. Because of the awareness, yes.
Because statistics shows that in suicide, men are found with the leading numbers over women, right? More men kill themselves. More men die prematurely than women because of that mental health issues that you get. So one of the things that I can come up with in mental health is stability. You know, if you don't have a stable mind, it then leads to the domino effect of what comes after that. But again, I link that to.
So me asking you that is not me trying to find an explanation from you. It's me trying to. We need to talk about it so that we can assist as what we think. What can we do? What we think.
Can help. So for me, so in my personal capacity, mental health it comes with being to be able to have a healthy mind.
Okay.
So being able to separate myself from anything that I'm going through, being able to separate myself from circumstance, from people, and being able to be mentally strong. Being mentally strong for me means being present. You know what I mean? Being present to where you are, showing up to where you are, and doing what you as a man is propagated to do, which is just provide and all the other things that come with that. So for me, it's just a subjective issue. We can discuss it globally, but
because that's why I wanted to get an explanation. Hence, I cut you off and had that altercation. So I want us to get to the crux of it. We can't discuss mental health for long because it is subjective.
Yes, and sorry, as you speak now, and I start thinking more. It's also that because remember, we as people come from the past, or we are programmed. We come with traumas and all these things, and how men have been perceived by society. All those traumas. Then
let's start there. So that we dissect the things.
Okay.
Traumas.
Yes.
And let's start there. Traumas.
Yes.
And let's go there. Let's discuss the traumas. What is it? Let's give experiences of past traumas as men or whatever it is. I'll start.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah? And I'll start by saying, as a man, the traumas were for me. I've always, because my sexuality is what it was. Now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, I wasn't comfortable with the kissing umalume and the what, because it felt maybe feel some type of way. That's a trauma for me, for instance.
Okay.
I've had to then always question that thing of why does it fizzle me to be touched by a male figure? And it wasn't comfortable. Only now it makes sense. And my sister would be like, it's okay, but for me, and it's not because I was sexual. It was because of the trauma of not knowing where you are as a person, for example. So that has led me to have that fight with the people here at TK's Space when those girls mentioned and triggered that. It's a trauma from when I was young.
Yes.
And I went all up and berserk, but come to think of it, when he spoke to me and said, "Are you really it?"
Yes.
And so that's why I said to him, I appreciate him when he did that, because he then made me deal with the trauma. So where we are, as Amachita, there's a lot of traumas we are not dealing with.
No.
And that's why today I want us to have an emotional session of Amachita, talk about this thing, because I've lost Chuti, and maybe it's not about me, but I've lost one famous guy. I've lost Sia from Gomorrah. Suicide. I've lost Mandla. Even Mandla was not suicide, but he got sick. But the sickness was from a situation that he could not deal with.
Oh yes, and then important.
Then people start dying. Then there was supposed to be now. Then people are just okay, it was an accident, but maybe he was drunk because he had a situation and he drank and then drove on the road. That's what I got.
Yes.
So, let's dissect that. Please tell me let's help the people.
And some of the things that you, and not some of the things. What you've just said now. Also, because trauma doesn't show up in a way, especially. The thing is, right? Trauma, you only are able to dissect or work on your traumas or your shadows. Is it shadows? To work on your shadows only when you become aware of them. So sometimes we operate and with these things in our subconscious, right? And we don't realize that it's that's making you act out in this way. So I may walk out of here having drank wrong, and you guys are just thinking I'm having fun with you guys. Can't mean up behind me. Hey, there's that brain behind that my dad used to say to me, you are useless. You are useless. And yet maybe there's something that happened to me yesterday in my own life as old as I am that triggered that, but I don't realize and I don't link it back to my dad because I had not worked on those traumas. Then I find myself reacting now. Hey, then you find yourself now in a predicament. You don't know how you got there. Then you're like, Twizy, this life is bad. Life in Themba. Sorry, my boy. Life in Themba. But it's because also we don't realize these things because we're not aware of them. So once you start working on yourself, internalizing, working on the shadows,
the linkage. Thank you for the linkage because
and just
the awareness. And you can't say you're not aware.
You're not Sizwe, bro, at times you're not aware.
You're right.
Bro, because I'm gonna start another topic. At times you're not aware.
Yeah, he's right. Sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you, but
yes.
It raises
because
yes. People shut down and you ask yourself, how? No, I mean, I'm just outspoken. I'm just like this. I speak like this. And then, man, you told me why am I and it's because you're touching on what we don't know. So just to close it off before I move on to Twizy, is that one of my traumas also just in that context. So it's this thing of when, so in my...
Machita, this is for you.
Bro, in my bubble, right, I grew up in a church environment, right? Because of my mom. So obviously, because I was more close to my mom than my dad, it was always that. So my mom obviously believed in Jesus, nothing else, no Msebenzi.
She was Assemblies of God,
the
real
Christian. And my dad on the other side was Madlozi, you have to do this, what, right? So now, here's the thing. Who do I spend more time with at home? I spend time with my mom than my dad. Now, funny enough, rolling it back in the future, now that I'm over 30, I start reasoning and seeing why my dad was saying the things he was saying. But how my dad was saying those things was, and then I'll be like, why is my dad against church like this? Why is he? And every time we get to church, we would have prayer sessions, dog. They would pray for their husbands, and all their husbands with drunkards and all.
Sorry about that.
Now, I started asking myself these questions, right? Ma, why Jesus this, Jesus that, Jesus that, right? So because now I started operating in my mom's sphere of thinking. My dad, we created a dealing between me and him, right? So I lived with my dad in the same house, and yet I got nothing from him outside of money. Because me and him got disengaged for the fact that he thinks, then the only things or the only time my dad responds to me is when me and him are getting into a fight and he would say things that are crazy. You're gonna be fucking useless. With something so small. But because I was taking bait from my mom, I thought my dad is useless. I thought, why is my dad not going to church? Why is my dad not wearing a suit and fucking taking us to Spur every weekend and stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, boy.
So that created a thing of I only heard from one ear, from my mom. So I took everything in on how my mom said it. Like, for example, my mom was against me dating. And I was like, what? Dating? Hi, mom. It's not like I'm having sex or anything. She's like, hey. Melu shate, mas already, right? What did that create? That creates a string that, oh yeah, hey, my mom, I must get married, I must get a job, I must get married. Wow. Then when you get to that marriage or you get to that point in life, because it's not your own thoughts, you start now having problems and you can't relate those problems to where they come from, to those traumas. To say you were told you need to get a job, go to BAT, be an engineer for 50 years, and then get a wife, get married, have 7 kids, go to church, and that's your life. But now life starts unfolding in different circumstances.
Now on your own.
Now you know you're on your own. Now you start being scared. You start being triggered by things. Now you are emotionally unavailable. You don't know where these things are coming from. Now you were taught, or I was taught, hey, imagine, I was taught by a woman that I need to be a man, a masculine man. But what is a masculine man from a feminine side? Or how does masculinity get taught by feminism to be a masculine? You can't, bro. Because now, I'm thinking, because my mom operated in a different sphere. So now I'm operating in that. I'm looking at how my mom and dad interacted. Right? My mom used to bring food for my dad with a tray, even though my dad despised even though my mom despised my dad. You know, because she took it from radio pulpit that no matter how bad your husband is, because you're a stooge Christian, do the right thing all the time.
And your trauma, for instance, was a conflict of interest.
It was conflict of interest, and also from the masculine side, I never heard anything.
I started conflict of interest. He decided not to.
He went. Let me shut down. And he used to say to me, "Uzobona masokuli, uzobona masokuli." You know what I mean?
What? Give us an example of what your trauma could be.
No,
not if you don't have what? I mean, whatever,
actually, I'm gonna touch up on. I made it just a few things. One other thing. You can when you are presented with a situation or a trauma, or whatever it is in life, you always have 2 options. It's either you deal with it or you try to fix it. And then now there's a difference between the 2. You understand? And if one hand works well, it doesn't mean the other is useless. You understand? As Themba is talking about his mother and the father and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, when he comes to the actual point of it, that's when he actually realizes that it's not to say that that hand was actually excellent than this one. You understand? But it's coming to that thing of saying now, but now see this. If someone who doesn't realize,
because
first
he's aware.
of all, because it's aware of
he's aware.
But remember, there's someone out there who's not even aware. So now, because they are not aware, they are only trying to fix something that they are not aware, because now they are trying to get rid of it. But if you become aware of it, now you try to deal with it. Now you try to bring the balance in it. That's what the deal comes from. You understand? What do I get from it? What do you gain from it? That's where the deal comes from. So now we are dealing with these things instead of trying to fix them, because it's a trauma. Remember, we are talking about trauma. For the mere fact that it's a trauma, that means it already traumatized.
Exactly.
So already it already had its way with you. So you are already traumatized. So now when you become aware with it, you deal with it. You don't fix it, because now it's no longer a problem. It's something that you are living with, because it was embedded. It's just like colonization. You understand? They programmed this thing. So now I love it. You understand? I love it.
Point number 1. Guys, we're trying to fix that mental health problem. You see, all of us talk about awareness. That's the point number 1, Machita. You need to be aware of what's going on. And go back. Let the guys, the internal work. I'll preach to people. Deal with stuff. Ask yourself, why am I angry that Themba is kicking me? He's kicking me and I'm getting so...
Hey bro, it's touching you. Even when Themba says sorry, you go like,
we are still angry.
But you still, but aren't you watching this? But I just wanted to make a point. Sorry, Sizwe. When Jesus is speaking, I'm thinking now, have you ever been in a room with Namachens where you've heard, I'm sure you've heard this before, where a lot of guys, they come to the same conclusion when they interface with women. They say, mfana ukushada lo mfazi ufuna ukumchintsha mara mina kumele ngichintshe lo mfazi laba bafazi laba bayasichintsha. You've heard that rhetoric. Why is a bunch of men coming up with the same conclusion. Because when you start being aware and you start looking at yourself, you distance yourself from that, because you do realize that. I mean, I ask myself, why are we agreeing on the same thing? Because at first we all felt the same thing. Because, 2 weeks ago, but there's also another argument where some guys say, yo, since in Kaluk Chola no Mtwana and the life of Chinchile boy, you was saying clean ganja. Or when a trees from your Themba boy, since in Kaluk Chola.
And another thing, the one that speaks about it in the negative connotation could just be also checking if you guys are aware. He's trying to, you know,
and
he's trying to succumb in that.
And he feels comfortable if you say, hey, they feel, and then that's where we then go back as people. But like you say, you managing it, you know, dealing with it. You see,
and it says it goes back to the point where they say, now what you're doing is you're saying, but that's not your reality. Say to a machita, but he made his if we could have those conversations, what we do, you mentioned a bunch of friends. When we are a bunch, we try to be intoxicated or to not to be we are not in our normal states.
Okay,
When we are a punch, we try to be a punch. We mix everything together.
Thank you. So we are never saying. Thank you. So see, problem. We try to be a punch and have punches. Give punches.
Wait, can I disagree on that? Because you make a very, very valid point, right? But then I just want to look at it in a different case. Now, in history, you remember I'm a rod lawa. What did they call it again? Those rods that you threw in a pot and then you throw them. So back in the days, right? So and then you put in your rod. I don't know if it's a rod or what, but
this is straw.
Yeah, that's straw, but those ancient straws.
The ancient straws.
So how men used to drink back in the days was they used to gather under a tree, big pot of umkomboti. They put in that rod. So we are figure when umjita 7 in the community of Sizwe shy rod for 1 hour. As kulum. That's what these ancient guys used to do in the villages. They drink. But here's the thing: the whole point of them drinking was they understood that drinking alcohol with no purpose does not serve you, because now you are drunk. That's why men start,
understand.
That's why men now start doing wrong stuff. That's why now they start beating their women. They start causing trouble, because now you are too drunk. You are at home at 10 p.m. but you don't know what to do with yourself outside of drunkenness.
So now you're not disagreeing.
So now here's the point. I'm coming to the point. I love context. You know context.
But you said disagree.
So now I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
So now these men. So how men used to do this was, the whole point is that we've taken it out of what the initial purpose of gathering and drinking as men. What was the point? The point was, because we are all from the village. Let's say we are all from the Ratana. All men, Ratana, catch up. Siyapuza. 10 p.m. we are all in the same level. And when we are all in the same level, we then start talking about the real issues that are affecting the community. The community has got crime. People are dying. Now, because we are on the same level of intoxication, like how you put it, we are in the same realm. So when I start talking about, let's come up with solution, guys. If we are intentional about it, that's the point in which, because I'm trying to disagree with the fact that we're intoxicated, then
and I will repeat intoxicated, because I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing. You know why? Wait, I'm disagreeing still. You know why, Themba? The point is intoxication. The fact that you're saying they're aware of that. So why are you getting intoxicated? Aware. So now you want to come here because we said they would gather together.
Yes.
And start drinking.
Yes.
So that is very that is traditional. That was something sacred. Gathering together in the awareness of what with the intention.
Yes.
Us, we are feeling it. I'm drinking wine.
Not us, randomly.
Yeah, randomly us. I'm going to say us. I'm saying us. An example.
Do we talk shit when we drink?
Wait, my example. You have wine, I have beer. It's not the same thing, for instance.
You think so?
Yeah, but it's not the same thing.
Okay.
It's sorghum and grapes.
Okay, but I mean, in terms of intoxication, you think it lands differently?
It lands differently.
Okay.
I must go. It lands differently.
Okay.
Sorghum doesn't. It's not like grapes. So say it doesn't. Check it, please.
Okay.
Fact check it. We have a fact check. Otherwise, that's the point. Yes, you're disagreeing, but let's not disagree to agree, because the point is,
Yes.
what we're doing together. So we are and as not clean, so they knew
because we're not on the same level.
We're not on the same level. Thank you.
Okay.
You are saying they were on the same level.
Okay, I get you.
We are never on the same level.
Okay. That's why also when you go in the scriptures, you'll find the scripture that says if one or two are gathered in my name. This is now God speaking.
Yes, yeah.
He is speaking in a point of people gathering.
Yes.
And then he says, if one or two are gathered in my name, I'm also in their midst. Why does he say that? He says, if one and the other see eye for an eye, it doesn't matter what is it that you are doing. But if you see for an eye for an eye, whatever it is that you're doing, surely it shall be successful. Because now there is no opposition that is repelling whatever it is that you are trying to do. Because at the end of the day, negative energy, we don't like it because it's the only energy that can repel.
Yes.
You understand that? I think positive energy.
Speak about it in the context of Machita. Let's take it there. Truth to what you are saying, if I was watching, I would take it as you are saying, in the midst of us, the energy levels are never the same.
Okay.
We are never sure of why you are doing this or why you are saying that.
Okay.
And if we opened up more to each other, if we would come and say, let me bear it all out, we are taught not that Kali, whatever it is, that is shit. We've discovered that. I mean, you cry when you yawn, you cry. Releasing is releasing. But we need to get to a point of coming in here and saying, Themba, my brother, you know what? I fucked up. And wait for us to crucify you and correct you. Can I say
something before we take a break? Can I say something before we take a break? I really thank you very much for that. And that's, I think that I would say to our friends out there that what you just stated, it's exactly why Me and Friends is here. You understand? Because now we don't only react and we have real conversations. That's why you'll find conflicts here and there, because everything is genuine. You understand? We are only responding to what you are saying. And I am not attacking what you are saying. You understand? Because that, at the end of the day, it makes us united.
Thank you.
You understand?
The fact that we think differently about stuff, that's the beauty of it. But it's Namachita. And guess what? We're not thinking differently. In the end, we always just say, yeah, actually. Because the mental health issue is so sad, guys, because the stats are crazy. The countries that are top 5 are Russia, South Korea. South Africa is number 2. And that's the only country.
In terms of what? Suicide or like
suicide,
mental health issues?
Mental health.
Death, suicide.
Death
caused by mental health.
Guys, can we just hold it there? We'll come back to it. Sizwe, can you please wrap this up? Let's take a break. No, we're not closing.
Okay,
we're not closing.
Taking a break.
Yeah.
We're closing. All right. Mr. Director says we are closing. And before we close, there's something that we need to do. Check in word, guys.
All right.
Yeah, check in word before yes. Check in word. Check out word, rather.
Check out word. Ask Tweezy first.
Tweezy, what check out word, my brother?
I check out word is conflict. Deal with it. Don't try to fix it.
Yeah, bow.
Oh my goodness. I've got so many words. Which one can I use? Fear.
Okay.
Stop operating in fear. When Tweezy said, how did you quote it now? Who is gathered in my name?
When two or more
are gathered in my name, things shall prosper.
Yes.
What I take out of that is, because some of us take the Bible literally, it doesn't mean literally. And when God said that, or the Bible said that, it intentionally meant that if we meet in love and in intentionality, so that's how things get to work. If you all agree for the goodness of progress, we all go forward. So stop operating in fear, guys.
My word is progress.
Nothing is wrong.
My word is progress.
As you are progressing.
Yeah, as I am progressing. So when I catch them, like, progress. Progress. Let me tell you with the progress, guys. Hence we spoke about mental health. Let's progress, like Themba said. In fair too. when we are together for a reason, we will progress. So when you're together with your friends, Zamachita, speak life so that you can progress.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, and by that I'm not saying speak about God and what, but otherwise speak the truth. 100%. The truth is life.
100%.
Amen. This is how we wrap it up. My name is Sizwe Maseko. Do not forget to subscribe, like and share.
I'm gonna get used to that.
Yeah. We are me and friends everywhere. We are me and friends on Facebook. We are me and friends on X. We are me and friends on TikTok. We are me and friends on what's the other one? Yeah, our YouTube channel is me and friends. Alrighty, shout outs. Guys, let's get to 1,000 subscribers, please.
Yes.
And you guys apart.
Thank you guys. And guys, please comment in the comment section.
Yes.
Tell us what your thoughts are. Tell us what you'd like for us to engage in next time. We are watching, we are listening to you guys because, I mean, you are our audience, so we will try by all means to keep it together.
And guys, don't forget what we said first. We spoke about those 3 words, the games, what you guys want to be called. Okay?
Oh, you want us to call you comrades?
If whatever you want. If you don't like our top 4 names, start again. You want us to call you comrades, we'll call you comrades.
Comrades, MK.
Yeah.
No. No political affiliation
we
here,
have
guys.
A leadership, okay? So
we work with everybody.
Leaders of the
I think you meant AK-47.
Hey, we are the podcast of national unity. So any political affiliation is welcome,
including the DA.
We are not biased.
The DA, ANC, right?
No.
There's don't talk about it.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Are we closing this?
Yes, we are done.
No, okay,
guys,
Ladies and gentlemen, and that is how we drop episode 2 of Me and Friends podcast. Okay, our credits for today. The man who makes us lit. The man who produces, who does all the hard work, who is the whole production of Me and Friends. Thokozani's Kosana. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, right now, we discovered that he also has a production assistant, Tulisile Dubazana. Ladies and gentlemen, the conversationalist, the talent, Sizwe Maseko, Themba, Vilakazi, Thabiso, Msimang. Do not forget to subscribe on this YouTube channel. Subscribe so that you can receive all our content in time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the second episode. 2 more and more and more.